Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, my second YouTube video actually, but I have just come off my first and second ride of HYPERIA at Thorpe Park. Wow, this coaster is absolutely incredible. It is genuinely the best coaster I've ever ridden. Like most people in the UK who have been to Blackpool, my number one coaster was actually Icon, which I actually only rode a couple months ago, but this blew everything out of the park. From the station, I know not everyone is a huge fan of the theming, the lack of theming surrounding Hyperia, but I would just like to say, other than the landscaping, which is very obvious that the landscaping won't be perfect because it's a new ride. If you look at Saw before the when that opened, it just looked so bare. That is probably my only complaint with the ride, but when I got to the park today, I mean, I was a bit worried whether it would even be open. I mean, this ride hasn't exactly had the best track record, but everything about it was just incredible. We got to the park at around 9:30ish and actually started queuing at about 10 past 10, just because there were some issues getting into the park. But we scanned our annual passes and we went straight over to Hyperia. And the queue, I don't know if this is usual, but we went on Saturday, the 29th of June. The queue went all the way back to Saw, pretty much. Well, more Samurai. But, I mean, it quickly moved, and within a few minutes we were at the makeshift cattle pen entrance for the ride. And, yeah, we got straight into the ride from there. And another not great thing is probably the queue line for the ride. It's not particularly very impressive. I mean, I think that's quite clear to see. It wasn't anything spectacular. Queuing through cattle pens and cattle pens and cattle pens. But that wasn't that bad. To be honest, I didn't really mind. I was just so happy riding Hyperia. I mean, it might be a bit more annoying for people riding Hyperia who haven't ridden things like Icon, which is more, and it's another Mac ride that's more stylized. But yeah, we quickly made our way into a station on a queue time which was advertised 2 hours, and we made it in just over an hour. I thought that was great. I think the operations for the ride were incredible. Despite its history, the operations were so quick. I felt like we were moving every few minutes, and when we made our way into a station, of course I've seen everything by now, but seeing everything in person was just absolutely mind-blowing. It was incredible. From the effects, I know I've seen some reviews, people saying the effects were a bit underwhelming. I mean, I'm just happy to get any effects. If you look at any other coaster other than Stealth with the
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
Yeah, I thought the smoke was really cool. I thought the hologram effect, although sometimes I've heard it doesn't work, was amazing. And just going out that station into that outer banked turn was crazy. I mean, I've been thoroughly following this ride since about 2021, and I've taken visits to Monk's Walk during its construction. I mean, you can see some photos of it before it's even finished, and I've been to Thorpe Park multiple times whilst it was testing before it opened. But to be going around that outer banked turn out of the station after 3 years almost was completely unreal. It was just absolutely nutty to be doing that. But we quickly made our way up the lift hill, and me and my friend who I sat next to on the ride could not stop taking in all of the views from the ride. I mean, wow. It was, you could see for miles. You were quickly higher than Colossus, and just as quick. It felt like as tall as Stealth. And then before you knew it, I was taking the views. We were going down that drop. And what was that drop? I didn't expect to be pulled over that drop as much as I did. It was just bonkers. Like, the stomach drop feeling is crazy. I honestly, my first time riding it, I went row 4. Wasn't particularly the biggest fan of the drop. Not because of, and that's because of how much I loved it. Don't take that the wrong way. I knew as soon as I went on, that's the best drop I've ever experienced. But I felt like it was almost too much just because of how absolutely insane it was. Like, just crazy. And then straight into that junior non-inverting Immelman. The airtime, also forgot to mention the airtime on the actual initial drop itself was crazy. And then straight into the junior Immelman, where there was more airtime. You were just thrown out of your seat. I went row 5 and I went row 6 on my first 2 rides on the ride. I'm going on July 10th and I think July 8th to get some more re-rides on it, because of course I only managed to get 2 rides on it today. But the ejector airtime and just the speed you were going down that junior Immelman was crazy. I have not stopped grinning that whole time since I've gotten off the ride for the first time. And then into that weird outer bank turn. I've had a lot of names for it. The Burton roll, so many stuff. But I just call it the outer bank wave turn. I mean, I know you could. I kind of already called this the outer bank turn, but oh well. You are chucked out of your seat. I am convinced if there was no restraints in this ride, you'd fly 1 billion trillion miles. It was crazy. And my friend was sat on the row behind me, who honestly isn't even the biggest fan of roller coasters. And we rode every other coaster in the park that day. He's never ridden a roller coaster before. He honestly didn't come off like he came off obviously petrified if that's your first ever roller coaster, because we rushed to that straight away. But he said that was without a doubt his favourite roller coaster that he's ever done. It was crazy. And then into that stall, I was anticipating that stall so much. I was like, for obviously the last few years I've been going into digital dance recreation of Planet Coaster on Planet Coaster. That stall has always just seemed incredible to me, and it did not disappoint when you're actually on the ride. You just feel like you were hanging there for years. I have heard people saying before it opened, oh, it feels like it's going to be too short. It didn't feel like it could be a world-class roller coaster for only last 30 seconds. That is just completely discarded after riding HYPERIA.
You did hit the train brakes a little bit too hard
when coming into that splashdown. But I don't think it was that bad. I think, well, obviously they had to do it. Otherwise you just die on that wave turn. But yeah, the ejector airtime after the splashdown and then the final airtime hill, crazy. I don't even think you can. I think my standout element on Saw the Ride, it was obviously the first drop and that airtime hill, but you get the same airtime on HYPERIA's final airtime hill as Saw's one, but that is just completely thrown in the bin on HYPERIA. No one cares about this because it's got so many incredible elements, and it is without a doubt my number 1 roller coaster in the UK. But yeah, that is pretty much my review. I don't think I missed anything. Well, except for the merch, I actually did buy the hoodie and the t-shirt. Yeah, I spent a little bit of money on that. But yeah, that is pretty much my review. I might do another video on this once I would do some more rewrites on it. But about my Planet Coaster series, that will be returning in my next video. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. And like and subscribe the video, and goodbye. This has been HYPERIA.